It's been over a year since I put out my last video. So what have I been up to in the meantime? Well, really, I've been taking my own career advice. So if you want to see how I apply what I tell you to do to my own life and my own career, follow along. Last April marked almost 3 years that I'd been consistently putting out weekly videos. And there's a lot of content if you look back over this channel, 130 videos and counting. But at some point it gets really hard to come up with new content all of the time, and I was starting to get a little bit burnout doing that and all of the other things that I had going on in the business. Because really, YouTube is just a small part of what I do, even if it's the most visible part of what I do. So I decided it would be good for me to take a little step back, and that started with the plan to take a month off from filming content, having the pressure to come up with ideas, but it also was time for me to reflect and look at what did I want my career to look like? What do I want my career to look like next? It's something that I think about from time to time. I encourage everybody to spend some time thinking about, but I hadn't really done a lot of deep diving on what that looked like for me since I had left my corporate job and started doing consulting work. So in April, I started reevaluating how things were going. While I may have taken a break from being on camera, there was still a lot going on behind the scenes. I've worked with a few different colleges on their master's programs in business and data analytics, specifically around helping people get employment after they get out of the programs. I have also coached a lot of people one-on-one, helping them get jobs in data analytics, business analytics, and data science. And they're really all over the place in terms of where they got placed. Some people in FANG jobs, top 3 consulting companies, top financial and healthcare organizations, and sometimes much smaller companies. A lot of coaching is figuring out what works for you and your background and helping you achieve what your goals are. And everybody's goals may be a little bit different, so where they end up also differs. At the same time that I was helping other people figure out what they wanted to do with their careers, I was reevaluating my own a little bit. I hadn't really given a lot of thought to what I wanted to be doing once I started consulting and left the corporate job that I was in. But I knew that I wasn't ever going to have a career trajectory that looked like one constant position or at one consistent company throughout my entire career. That's part of what leaving the company I was at and starting my own business was about. But I'm very open to sometimes there's other things out there, and the only way to really see what's out there and experience it and see if there's something else you want to do is to be aware, to look at jobs that are out there, to interview for ones that sound interesting. So I also decided last May, June-ish to start looking at what was out there. Analytics have come a long way since I started, and even in the past few years. There's a lot more focus on strategy, there's a lot more implementation to drive business action with analytics, and I really love that piece. It's part of what I love about consulting, but it's also great in a corporate environment. So I took the time last summer to evaluate what else is out there, what's interesting to me. I interviewed for a handful of jobs that I thought sounded intriguing, narrowed it down to a few that I had some interest in, got a few offers, and then ultimately accepted a job at a tech company on the corporate side of things as a manager of analytics and data governance. And I've been really thrilled with this new job. I get to make a lot of impact, and I really enjoy the company that I work for. And that was a big piece for me of deciding what I wanted to do next. I felt like the job itself was really important, but the company that I ended up at and the people and the culture was at least equally as important. Because let's be real, there are thousands of jobs out there in analytics that with 15 years of experience, I could probably apply for and I could probably go do. I didn't just want any role. I wanted something that really resonated with what I liked to do, where I added value, where the culture was good. And I also really like what I do with helping people get into analytics. So I wanted a company that was okay with me still doing some of this stuff on the side. So ultimately I made that decision about a year ago to step back into a corporate role. Since then, I've continued to do things with helping people get into analytics roles. I've also had the opportunity to do some pretty cool partnerships, which you'll see a little bit more of coming up. And I've also taken time away from work. So it sounds like I have a lot going on, and I do have a decent amount going on, but I also like to make sure that I prioritize spending time with friends, spending time on things that I enjoy. And don't get me wrong, I love analytics, but I need time to recharge. I need things that are outside of work that get my brain thinking in different ways, that get me engaged with other people. And so I've been taking time to do that too, and finding out what balance looks like for me with a corporate job and with still consulting on the side and helping people get into analytics careers. I've also taken the time to do some additional training. No matter how much I know, there's always going to be something out there that I don't know. And so I like to dabble in different areas. I like to learn different skills. Sometimes I learn them very superficially, other times I learn them in depth. But I think that there's real value in continuing to look at what's out there, to understand what some of the trends are, and to really see how you can take your skills up another notch. So that's something else that I've been working on. That's what I've been up to over the past year or so. The natural question is, what next? So for me, it looks like continuing to find some balance in all of the different things that I'm doing. I enjoy doing a lot of things, and I also don't want to be working 100 hours a week to make that happen, or even 80 hours a week. I think a lot of times in our careers, we might go through phases where things are really intense, we're working a lot of hours, and I think that can be sometimes even really beneficial in the short term, but it's not sustainable for most people in the long term, and it's not something that I choose to sustain. I've sustained it in the past. I have no interest in sustaining that now. But I do think that I can do things in a little bit more balanced of a way. So you'll see more content on this channel than what you've been seeing, some regular videos, although it might take me a little bit to get back to weekly videos. I have a lot of great ideas of topics that I think you'll find really helpful. I'll still also be doing one-on-one coaching sessions. So if you want help figuring out how to get into analytics, how to build analytics skills, how to prep for interviews, anything really in the analytics space that you want to work with someone who's both been an analyst, been on the hiring side of things, reach out about coaching. I'll link something down in the description of this video. So I'll continue to do coaching. I've helped hundreds of people get into analytics jobs. That's something I really love doing. It's almost like giving somebody a present, where yes, it's exciting to get a present yourself, but it's also really exciting to give somebody else something, and knowing that that is making a huge difference for people in their lives, in both financial, being able to do things that they really love. That's something I'm going to continue doing for sure. I really love the corporate company, tech company that I'm working for, so that's certainly going to be a large piece of life for me at this point. And then continuing again with balance, doing the things outside of work-related items that I find fun, making some time as well to build skills, and really just enjoying it and making it more of a pleasant experience, and something that I'm inspired, which I think probably comes through in what you see on your end. So with that in mind, if you have ideas of things that you'd like to see me cover on the channel, please leave a comment and let me know. I have lots of ideas, but I'm always open to more, and I really want analytics to be approachable for anybody that's out there. So if there's things that are maybe a blind spot for me or I've missed, let me know, and I'll see how I might be able to fill that gap with future content on the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.